Welcome to this video on my channel where I am going to be predicting the next upcoming qualifiers in the AFC Asian Football Confederation, and I will be going through each of the games coming up, primarily from match day 9, but also a look ahead to match day 10 as well. Getting to the end, 2 teams qualified, 2 teams on the brink, and we've got 2 teams, and there's a spot in each group for 2 teams to get into this new spot. The playoff spot where 2 teams from each group will face each other. I had a look at the squads beforehand. Got the World Cup fever in me. I'm doing this on my own, then I thought I'll just get my predictions out early. So let's start with Group A, where we've got 2 teams that have qualified, Iran and South Korea, who have been the best teams in the group. And so far, my claim of saying these 2 will go unbeaten is going to plan, not going to plan. It's going into fruition. Don't know what that means, but the point is, I'm almost on point with this prediction. 2 more games to go, and then it's competitive to get that 3rd place. And then, unfortunately for Syria, they are out. And now let's go to the upcoming fixtures, starting with South Korea versus Iran. Actually, should I go to Lebanon versus Syria? I'll go in order by kickoff, and starting with Lebanon versus Syria. Syria are out, certainly underperformed. I thought they'd do at least better than just 2 points. Lebanon won the first game. Syria, they've clearly they should have it in them to at least be competitive towards that top 3. But you see the results they've been having in the previous games, and not so much. Despite going out, they did play well in the Arab Cup. Unlucky not to get a draw against the UAE, beat Tunisia, and the loss to Mauritania, who they were in a position where Syria needed to score, and they just lost right in the end. I think they are good enough to get a win somewhere. Will it be this game? Will it be the next game? And with Lebanon, they have been. I'm not familiar with their players at all. Certainly not like Syria's top scorer before Ali Mahmoud took the Syria's current top scorer, Omar Al somebody. I'll probably find it up here. For Lebanon, I'm not. Here he is, Omar Al Omar Al Soma. But anyway, you look at this. Lebanon I'm not really familiar with their squad too much. They do have Omar somebody. I'll just check that. Atom, who plays for Sutton. However, he didn't appear in the last squad for the qualifiers in the last game, so I don't necessarily think I'm not sure if he's going to be playing again. Lebanon haven't announced a squad yet, so I don't know if he is going. Omar Bagil. I'm sorry for the pronunciation. I am going to go with a win for Syria, though. I think they've got it in them to get a win somewhere, and are Lebanon are that good? They've done pretty okay in these qualifiers. Started well, and then it went kind of average for them. I mean, they got the standout moment was winning away at Syria, so they'll certainly take confidence in getting something here. But I am going to go with a 2-1 win for Syria. I think they've got enough to get a win here. And now let's go to Iraq versus the UAE. This is probably the game of the fixtures in Group A. Both sides are looking to get into that third place. You look at this, UAE have had the better rub of the green in the form. Iraq is still waiting on their first win. They've got a few draws, like a huge standout was getting a draw away at South Korea. On the road, they've been pretty good. They've only lost the once to Iran, and that was Iran got a late goal. So it's looking all right, but the home form is the big concern. They lost quite heavily to the bigger teams, and they've drawn to the lower teams. I did wonder about making this thing not long ago. That did wonder about a high-scoring game. I might have said that on a month ago or something like that, but these two aren't scoring much goals at the moment. UAE have recently hired a new manager from Argentina after they dismissed Bert van Marwijk. I think it'll be a close game. UAE have announced a provisional squad, so I think so it looks like Ali Mahmoud is fit to play in this game. I think it is going to be a close one. The fact Iraq have come back to play at home in Baghdad's going to be big, and if they're going to be allowed, depending on the COVID situation, then you could find that they'll bring a great crowd. I am just going to go over Iraq here. I'm going to go 2-1. I think they're pretty well evenly matched. UAE have the best player. I'm just going to go with Iraq because I think they've got enough to be up there and compete. And now we go to South Korea versus Iran. Both of these teams are going to want to finish first. And both of these teams are also qualified already, as I mentioned earlier. I think it's going to be close. I don't know if Son's going to... I imagine Son's probably going to go. I imagine Taremi and Jakanbash for Iran's going to be there too. I think I'm going to go with a 0-0, maybe 1-1. I think it is going to be a draw because I think these two will be evenly matched. For Iran, it's not going to be straightforward to be getting a result at South Korea. A big test to travel all that way. And then for South Korea, Iran is also a difficult opponent to try and beat. I think it's a fair result. I was thinking 0-0 for a while, but I think I'm going to go 1-1. I'm back and forth on this 0-0, 1-1, but I think I'll say 1-1. And now let's quickly go over these last fixtures. Let's start with the first one, which is Iran versus Lebanon. Iran have taken this group by storm, gone unbeaten, only drawn one game in all the 8 fixtures. Although interestingly enough, they've not actually battered any of their opponents at home. So this could be interesting against the Lebanon side, who might still be in the running in trying to qualify. I think Iran are going to want to end this strong and try and confirm this first place. And I think what they've got over Lebanon is stronger. I am going to go Iran 3, Lebanon 1. Now let's go over to the UAE, where they take on South Korea. And now a win will get them into 3rd place. A win against Iraq will probably confirm them that place, depending on what Lebanon do. I think it'll be another draw for South Korea. I am going to go 1-1. I think Ali Mahmoud will score, and South Korea will find an equalizer, whether it's Son or from the defense or whoever else. I think 1-1's probably the right result. And finally, we got Syria versus Iraq. Syria aren't at home, as we can see down here. I think it is going to be a fairly close game. Iraq, I think, will probably have to win. If it is, even regardless of what UAE do. I think it's going to be a tough game. Oh, I think Iraq have the better chance. Do I go with a draw or win? I am going to go with Iraq. I think they'll find a way to get past Syria in what will probably be a close game. Both sides desperate for points. I think right now I would lean towards Iraq, but I could easily change my mind. So what does that mean for the table? Well, the two sides stay as they are. Iran and South Korea unbeaten as well. And Iraq, with their 2 victories, go into third place. UAE slightly behind with the extra point. Lebanon still on 6 points and down to 5th. And Syria stay bottom. And now let's go to Group B, where we've got another interesting group where all the weaker teams are eliminated, and it's purely down to the teams in the top 3: Saudi Arabia, Japan, and Australia. Let's start with Australia versus Japan, where it's going to be that it's a game where Japan, they get a win and they're through. A draw, will probably be enough, considering who they have to play afterwards. Australia's best goal scorer will be missing, and that's going to be a blow. So I think what's going to happen is this guy Hrustic, he's been injured. He's not going to be available to participate in this game against Japan. Japan's probably not what they were in 2018 and 19. Still got Otto. They've got Otto, Minamino on the attack. They've not really battered anybody in this tournament, in this qualifiers. They've got a big big win against Saudi Arabia 2-0, and also got to beat China by the same result. But besides from that, their wins have been quite narrow. Osako and Ito, big players as well. McLaren, Moy, both good players. Aaron, how old must Aaron Moy be now? Don't need to go in that, but Jamie McLaren's a brilliant player. So is Duke. I think it's going to be a close game. I see McLaren scoring for Australia and Osaka getting a goal for Japan. I'm going to say it's a 1-1 draw. And I think it's going to be pretty evenly matched. Although if Australia do get the win, then they will go above Japan because they've got the superior goal difference. It's close, but it would turn out that way, and the race would be very interesting. So up next, we go to China versus Saudi Arabia. It's actually in the UAE, interestingly enough. I think it was probably something to do with sanctions on China or something like that. But China, not the worst team. They can play all right, but I think overall they're probably not going to be very competitive against against Saudi Arabia. It's I think they could do something potentially. But then you look at the Saudi Arabia team who have just need a draw to. I think they just need a draw to secure qualification. A win will definitely do that. And no, they probably wouldn't get away with a draw, but a win would get them qualification. So, which I do expect them to do. They also recently announced their squad, which is going to be which will get an idea on who's going to be playing. Having Hervé Renard's going to be a boost for Saudi Arabia. He's helped them do brilliant things in this qualification so far, and the fact they have stayed top is impressive. They've got some good experienced players on here. I don't know them too well, but I do recognise a number of them, and they're going to be a big threat in their next two games. Obviously, Al Sharawi is good player. They've got a good squad, with brilliant manager, and then you look at this game. China, they won't be the most straightforward in terms of difficulty, but I do expect Saudi Arabia to get the win, and I think with it being in the UAE, it'll attract a big crowd of Saudi supporters. I'm going to go with China 0, Saudi Arabia 2, and that is going to qualify Saudi Arabia to the World Cup. And let's end here with Vietnam versus Oman. Oman started brilliantly, and then kind of just think the results weren't going their way. They got a draw against Australia, where people are saying it was a bad result for Australia, which it was, but it was worse for Oman because that secured their fate as not qualifying against a Vietnam team. They definitely deserve to get here, having come off the bat of playing a competitive group in the previous round. But they've not really been cutting the mustard here. The high point was that win against China. I am going to say this game will be a draw. I'm going to go 1-1. And now finally we go to the match day 10 for Group B. And let's start with Japan versus Vietnam. This is going to be a big game for Japan, where a draw will get them. If they've drawn against Australia, then a draw against Vietnam will take them there. Vietnam won't be the easiest, but Japan at home with their goal scorers, I think this will be their big chance to have a go at battering a team. They've not done that yet, and their priority is going to be qualifying. But I'm going to say they'll do it in fine style. I am going to go with 3-0. And now we go to Saudi Arabia versus Australia. I think it's going to be a pretty close game. And if Australia have given themselves a chance to get into that top 2, then I think they'll give Saudi Arabia a brilliant game. And if they've not secured qualification, then this could be one of the standout games. I am going to go with a 2-1 win for Saudi Arabia, and then go to Oman versus China. I will say 2-1 to Oman. So what does this mean for the table? Well, the bottom 3 stay as they are. Oman finishing with some pride with 12 points. Australia, with my predictions, they've not done enough here. 16 points. And then Saudi Arabia and Japan have secured qualification. I mean, most people will expect Saudi Arabia to do so. We might get a bit of division with Australia and Japan, but I think more people than not will say Japan were the expected team to get here. And so my table is pretty much how it was before. So what do you think? These were my predictions. What do you have? And what game are you most looking forward to in the Asian Football Confederation? Let me know in the comments below. And the road to 2022 is getting very close. The draw's coming up right at the beginning of the next month. And I can't wait. The road to 2022 is getting very close.